You are Fire, an elder vampire of prodigious strength and no small amount of fame, forced to sleep for 100 years, and people have been waiting for your return. You wake up in 21st century Seattle, bound by a curse and weighed down by the expectations of modern bloodsuckers. Amid all this, you must carve out a place for yourself in this new city, along with an identity, even as you're nudged into deals and alliances, bending and adapting as you try to become what Seattle's nighttime residents need, a big scary vamp who can fix everything, or break everything.
Take this, kid!
The story of Bloodlines 2's lost protagonist eerily encapsulates the state of the game itself. A long-awaited sequel with years of hopes and doubts and assumptions bearing down on it. An RPG that has to be an RPG, that has to be a sequel, that strains against its bonds. Bloodlines 2 is good, sometimes even great, and it absolutely sated my appetite for a blood-fueled undead yarn, but it is a sequel in name only, and it never really enthusiastically embraces being an RPG. Given its predecessor's cult status, and the source material, that's bound to be a disappointment for some. Instead, it's a conspiracy-laden mystery that's as Raymond Chandler as it is Anne Rice. You've got a lot of questions in search of answers. What's the deal with the sigil binding you to Seattle? How did you even get here? And why do you have a chatty Malkavian detective in your head? It's a buddy cop deal, except one cop is an ancient vampire, and the other one is also a vampire, but he's dead, double dead, and living inside his pal's noggin.
Time to earn the paycheck. If I got paid, which I didn't, technically.
Together they're going to clean up Seattle, while also killing a lot of ghouls. Like, so many ghouls. They never learn. Chatting, rooting around and killing ne'er-do-wells, that's the gig. Your vampiric senses manifest as a kind of detective vision that highlights certain things of import. Bloodstains, scents, the heartbeats of mortals, that kind of thing. Your crosshair, meanwhile, changes in size to highlight the proximity of important objects, from letters to elixirs that give you health and buffs. There are some light puzzles, but the conundrums you deal with are primarily social ones, or big picture things, worked out in conversations with vamps, ghouls, and Fabian, the voice in your head. In this regard, it's not unlike a Telltale adventure game, where your relationships and how your actions are perceived by others are what drives the story, and your investigation forward. This is where Bloodlines feels like it's most comfortable. Indeed, it's where it excels. Seattle's undead denizens are all deliciously arch, devious, and downright dangerous, and each conversation with the court's members becomes an elaborate dance as you try to suck all the information out of them without turning them into an enemy. When I wasn't chatting, I found myself craving these social moments.
I don't have anything I can spare for you.
I will take everything you have.
Not just because the writing is sharp, playful, and full of unspoken threats, but because some of the verbal jousting and heat-of-the-moment decision-making gave me the same buzz as solving a good puzzle.
Just keep playing the game like you did and you'll be fine. But whatever you decide to do, just remember, the only real question in life is whether the fucking you're getting is worth the fucking you're getting.
There's only really one thing missing from the chatty, investigative side of Bloodlines 2, but it's a big one. There just aren't many RPG systems propping it up. For instance, your background, which you lay the foundation for early on and then keep adding bricks, rarely plays a role. I spotted a few references and got a couple of unique dialogue options, but that was it. Beyond your detective vision, there's also a lack of non-combat abilities. Your powers are more action-focused, and you don't get any of the skills or attributes that you'd normally associate with an RPG. You'll never get smarter or more charismatic, and you'll never need to learn how to pick locks or hack computers. Now, the Chinese room has done a good job justifying this. You're an elder vampire who's lived for 400 years, and the events of Bloodlines 2 takes place over just a handful of nights. It might be a little bit weird if you got smarter suddenly. You can already smash most locks. And how's someone who's been asleep since 1920 going to figure out hacking? But I still miss the flexibility and sense of character building that these features normally provide. And while Bloodlines 2 works without them, it does make it feel like less of an RPG, and less like I'm creating my own bespoke version of Fire. There is an exception to this, however, and his name is Fabian. See, when fire goes to sleep, Fabian's memories bubble to the surface. He's forgotten whole chunks of his unlife, but as fire hides from the rising sun, these lost moments return, and you can play through them.
I remember now. It was a cold day in December. Colder than usual, I mean. I was in my office, I was awake, and I was none too happy about it.
There's no combat, and you instead use your powers to interrogate witnesses, slip into places you shouldn't be, and get clues. You'll jump between 1920 and 2024, just before Fire's arrival, and in both time periods you're investigating a serial killer who's been hunting ghouls and vampires, decapitating them, and hammering rebar into their bodies. We learn a lot about the court during these sections, how these undead movers and shakers manipulate the living, and Fabian's investigation is unsurprisingly tied to what's going on in the current day. Bloodlines 2 is linear throughout, and you can only use Fabian's Malkavian powers at specific moments on specific people, so you're really being led through these sequences, but boy are they fun. My favourite power is the one that lets him read objects. See, the incredible insights Malkavians glean come with a cost: madness. In Fabian's case, it's poor impulse control, bad jokes, occasional befuddlement, and talking to inanimate objects.
Patrick saw a limo, says Pandora was dropped off by one. That speaks of money, and money speaks of court.
So when you try to get a read on an item, Fabian strikes up a conversation with it, bestowing the item with a voice and a personality, and Fabian does all the voices himself. You'll chat to a fancy death threat, a flirty filing cabinet, and an unhelpful dead cat, to name but a few. I'm a big fan of my version of Fire, and I liked being a deadly hunter of naughty vamps, ghouls, and occasionally humans, but I think I'd give it all up to play a version of Bloodlines 2 that was just Fabian running around solving crimes and not once killing anyone. And I get the feeling that the Chinese Room would have liked to make that game too. To be clear, Bloodlines 2's combat is good, it just doesn't feel essential. It's certainly better than its predecessors, though I think once again some of the RPG elements will be missed. There are no stats to worry about, no gear or inventory management, no weapons. You're a 400-year-old killing machine who can decapitate multiple enemies with just your hand. And throughout the game, you'll unlock a wide variety of exotic powers, but you'll also probably figure out a build that works for you very early on, and there's not much need to evolve it. After the first few hours, I'd unlocked all of the Banu Hakim powers, and really that's all you need. With all your clan powers remembered, you have a full loadout. Instead of getting more powerful, you make lateral moves into the skill sets of other clans, but you're always restricted to 4 active powers. This means that the combat does start to outstay its welcome. I was having a great time mixing Banu Hakim and Tremere powers, along with liberal use of telekinesis, transforming me into a stealthy blood mage who could use enemies as blood bombs, then turn invisible and go for a series of stealth kills. But by hour 20, I was using my stealth to skip any fights that I could. This is also why I eventually stopped doing the side quests, since a fight is the best you can hope for. Honestly, it's wild that a narrative-driven RPG could have such dreadful diversions. Side quests are doled out by the leaders of the city's various clans, and here's everything they task you with doing. Running to a random area to pick up a package, killing a human, killing a ghoul, or finding collectibles. That's it. It just seems like the Chinese Room felt it had to include side quests, so it threw a series of incredibly low-effort ones into the mix. The same goes for the open world. Nighttime Seattle is dense in atmosphere, and at times incredibly striking, but there's hardly anything to do in the city. I almost feel bad for complaining about open world bloat now, because if this is the alternative, well, no thanks. Anything not related to the main quest is simply not great. And that's a significant problem in an RPG, even one as brisk as this. Bloodlines 2 features the best Vampire the Masquerade story out of any of the video game adaptations. It's a corker, and I will probably play through it again, even if the changes likely won't be all that dramatic. but the quest design and the character progression really hold it back. This is a game that's been designed to be a narrative adventure game with a pulpy noir bent, not an RPG. This identity crisis means that it's always just a bit awkward, with the Chinese room trying to fit a square peg into a round hole, but it's still a miracle that after one of the most tumultuous creation stories I've ever encountered in game development, it even exists, let alone that it's good. For more reviews, subscribe to PC Gamer, and let us know what you think in the comments below.